guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Matusan Komo. This is the channel where we talk about fragrances, arts, and we vlog, and I also give you story times. So I'm new into the story time foray, but I've been appreciating the reception of my story time, and I'm just too happy to share those moments. Today I want to talk about being classy, and I thought that was actually very important. So this is part of my series Happiness Over 50. I'm going to talk about being classy, a classy person. I think there are a number of reasons why I feel I can put my 2 cents into that. First, I'm always talking about classy fragrances. So what in the world does that mean? We're clearly not going to have my list of top 10 classy fragrance, but perhaps even in thinking about fragrance, that gives us an idea. Whenever I'm talking about classy fragrances, I'm usually talking about fragrances that are not too loud, that are inviting but not overbearing. So I think if you want to take an analogy of class from when I talk about classy fragrances, perhaps we could. Perhaps we could. So, but since it's story time, and why do we want to talk about being classy in our 50? Clearly being classy is something universal. At any age, preferably, we might want to be classy, but typically super young teenagers, for example, do not necessarily describe themselves as being classy, like having a classy style, or wearing classy fragrances. They're thinking more fun, eclectic, and things like that. But still, you can have a teenager that's classy. You can have kids that's classy. And certainly by the time you get to be 50 or in your 40s as a woman, it seems to me, I don't know if you can say to be happy, you have to be classy. But I have to say, if you embody certain characteristics of a classy person, there is a chance that's going to contribute to your happiness. Because if you're a loud person, you're a rude person, other people are going to respond to you in kind, and that may cause you not to be. So the classy I want to talk about in your 50s, and this is what in my 50s I've come to realize now, it's like what I know now to be true. I think Oprah Winfrey had a series it called What I Know to Be True or something like that. But so if we want to say in our 50s, we start having certain notion that we believe in more because we have had the experience. So combining those experiences, what do I know to be true in terms of being classy and the type of classy that would contribute to making you a whole individual and ultimately perhaps contribute to your happiness and the happiness of those around you. So this is what we're talking about here. Since this is a story time, I can tell you a few stories, right? So I've looked into the internet and see a lot of rules on how to be classy. Etiquette, knowing how to eat well on table, having good table manners, that tend to be very high on the list. Not showing food in your mouth and things like that. Clearly those things contribute to etiquette, but ultimately that's not all that it means to really be classy. And then I also saw another set of things about how to dress. Again, and I fall into that because I've talked about fragrances and wearing things that look classy. You can wear those very things that look classy, but that doesn't mean people think of you as a classy person. And having grown in a system of French education, all I would hear, by nuns and everything in a traditional form of education, all I would hear is about class this, class that. Do you have class? Do you have class? And unfortunately, in the system where I grew up, the French system, a lot of it, when they talk about having class, they were referring to your economic position in society, your last name, and so forth. And I don't believe that those things are going to convey really class. If you have the name, you have the money, but you come in, you really loud and you rude with someone, that is not a classy individual. I don't see how, and if it's your dominant trait, I don't see how anyone can refer you as classy. I think the first rule of being classy is to be clearly having good manners with yourself, but definitely with other people. Being classy is also about how you project yourself and treat other people. I don't think you can behave all proper and all etiquette with yourself, dressed nice, and then go around looking at people in a weird way and then not being nice to people. And in your 50s and so forth, you ought to know that you need to reach a certain level of experience in life where it is very important to treat others well in order for them to treat you well. And treating people in a classy way, reflecting your classiness, is really, to me, the convincing thing about being classy. Still giving the story about growing up in a society where people are thinking, oh, if I don't know your last name and I don't know how much money you have, they just look at you and they have this weird expression, look at your face. Unfortunately, you hear things like that from where I came from, and people are referring to that as, oh, I have class, therefore, and you don't. Don't be fooled for that. Don't be fooled by that. If someone is being mean to you and thinking either because of their skin color or money they have in their pocket, they have class no matter what, and you don't fall for that. No, they don't have class. And the way you react, who you are, how genuine you are, is going to really convey classiness. Classiness is very closely related to the other concept I talked about being graceful and being gracious, in a sense that you have self-control. You cannot be having no self-control. You're not treating people properly. You're not thinking about what you're saying. And just because you dress nice, you're wearing expensive fragrance, you think you're classy. That's not going to happen. Classiness is to be very, very genuine in who we are, that we are not fake. We're not faking it. And that comes to the next thing about appearance. I get a little bit tired of looking at some of the fashion videos out there, let's say on YouTube, for example, and they put a nice Western suit as looking classy, or they put some polo looking, high boots on a horse as being classy. And that's clearly trying to denote the class, the European class and so forth, that has money, old money, and sort of thinking that's what conveys class from a materialistic perspective. You can be in a certain class and not be classy. That's another thing about clothing. I would venture to say that I see every single style, people having eclectic style, or people having bohemian style, or hip-hop style, and they still convey classiness. And what's conveying that classiness in them, it's the consistency, the genuineness in which they carry themselves, they relate to other people. And to me, that's really the base to be classy. Everything else you can learn. It can become theatrical. You can learn etiquette. But being classy has to be a way of being. It has to be a true mentality. It has to be a true philosophy. you're going to falter. You're going to be mad at someone. You're going to be cursing someone out at some point. We're not talking about those human things that happen. But the concept of being a classy human being, independent of class and money and societal value on how much clothes and things like that you have, it's really about being genuine, being confident in who you are, and project that to people so that you don't keep projecting, how would I say that, uncertainty. You're shifting around, you're not being genuine, you're not having real concern about other people. That's not going to make for a classy person. In summary, I feel in order for us to be classy, other stuff like education, clothes, fragrances, they can project something, but they're never going to fool anyone that anybody is classy, unless if that person projects an aura of classiness, which is they are sincere of who they are, and they project true interest in other people, and are consistent in being graceful individuals. And I feel that it becomes really attractive as we grow older, that we project these forms of classiness. Until next time, bye.